How do you become the toughest man on earth?
David Goggins.
David Goggins.
David Goggins.
David Goggins.
David Goggins.
You have to be David Goggins.
David Goggins is the definition of endurance. The SEAL who ran 101 miles on broken feet and survived 3 hell weeks in a single year. But before the records, he was a 300-pound cockroach exterminator who couldn't even swim.
I had to make a change in my life. I was at an all-time low. I wasn't going anywhere, and I was exactly what everybody said I was going to be, which was nothing.
This is the untold story of how David Goggins conquered the impossible. You are currently living at only 40% of your actual physical and mental capacity. When you feel completely exhausted, you have actually only used a tiny fraction of your true potential. If you don't step into that discomfort today, you will never discover who you are truly meant to become. David Goggins is the only person in history to go through Navy SEAL Hell Week 3 separate times in a single year. During his training, he suffered double pneumonia and massive stress fractures. Then he fractured his kneecap. Most people would take the medical discharge and just go home. But Goggins taped up his broken knee, swallowed the intense pain, and went right back into the freezing ocean. For 130 hours straight, with a broken body and 0 sleep, he forced himself to endure the absolute worst suffering imaginable. He did not let his broken bones dictate his future. He proved that your physical body will always surrender long before your mind actually runs out of fuel. So right now, your brain might be telling you that pushing yourself until your body breaks is just stupid and extreme. It's telling you that to keep you safe and comfortable. But comfort is exactly why your business is stuck. You do not need to fracture your kneecap to use this secret. You just need to apply that exact same extreme mental toughness to the boring daily grind of building your company. You have to train your brain to stop negotiating with weakness. Let me show you the exact daily habits you need to build an unbreakable mindset from the world's toughest man, David Goggins. If you've been here before, type a hashtag BELIEVE in the comments below so I can feature you here in a future video. And if you're new, welcome to Believe Nation, the only channel that helps you believe in yourself daily, one video at a time. Believe. Master the 40% rule. When you are working on your business and you feel like you are completely out of energy, your brain is actually lying to you. Your mind will scream at you to stop. It will tell you that you need rest, that you have done enough for the day, and that you will burn out if you keep going. But the truth is that you have only reached 40% of your actual capacity. The remaining 60% is locked away behind a mental wall of discomfort. David Goggins used this exact concept to completely destroy his physical limits. He used it to run on broken legs and break world records, but this rule does not just apply to running ultramarathons in the desert. It applies directly to how you build your company every single day. There is actual science behind why your brain does this to you. It is called the central governor theory, originally developed by sports scientist Dr. Timothy Noakes. The theory states that your brain acts as a central governor to protect your body from damage. Long before your muscles actually fail, your brain sends intense signals of fatigue and pain to force you to stop. Your brain wants to keep you safe and comfortable. It wants to preserve energy. So it creates a feeling of total exhaustion as a defense mechanism, but it's just a feeling. It's not real physical failure. In the business world, this happens to you all the time. You sit down to make sales calls, and after 10 rejections, you feel completely drained. You feel like you cannot possibly pick up the phone one more time. Your brain tells you that the market is bad, that your script is wrong, and that you should try again tomorrow. That is the governor kicking in. That is the 40% mark. The world's biggest problem, I think, is that people don't believe in themselves enough to push past that exact moment. You accept the feeling of exhaustion as the absolute truth. You pack up your laptop, you sit on the couch, and leave 60% of your potential completely untouched. To become truly successful, you have to realize that this initial feeling of fatigue is just a barrier. It is a test to see how badly you want your dream. When you hit that wall, you have to actively tell yourself that you have more in the tank. You have to ignore the desperate pleas of your own mind. If you want to stop working at 5 in the afternoon, force yourself to work until 6. If you want to stop writing your email newsletter after 1 paragraph, force yourself to finish the entire page. By pushing past that initial urge to quit, you slowly train your brain to expand its limits. You teach your mind that you are in control, not your feelings. You will discover a massive reservoir of energy that you never even knew existed. But pushing past that limit requires you to stop lying to yourself, which brings us to the most difficult mirror you will ever look into. Face your accountability mirror. You cannot fix a problem if you refuse to admit that the problem exists. Most people are incredibly skilled at making excuses for their lack of success, right? You tell yourself that you don't have enough money to start, that you don't have the right connections, or that the algorithm is unfair. You wrap yourself in this warm blanket of lies to protect your ego. David Goggins realized he was doing this when he was nearly 300 pounds and working a dead-end job. He went into his bathroom, looked himself directly in the eyes, and called out every single one of his flaws. He wrote his brutal truths on sticky notes and put them on the mirror. He stopped playing the victim and started taking extreme ownership of his life. Psychologists call this mental protection mechanism cognitive dissonance. When your beliefs about yourself do not match your reality, your brain creates excuses to relieve the mental stress. If you believe that you are a hard worker, but your bank account is empty, your brain will blame the economy. It does this to prevent you from feeling like a failure. But that protection keeps you stuck in the exact same place for years. So we have to shatter that protection to actually grow. I had to face my own accountability mirror when I first started on YouTube. I'm an introvert. I was terrified of being on the camera. I told myself that I just need better equipment or better lighting or a better microphone. But the actual truth was I lacked the skill. I made 350 completely terrible, embarrassing videos before I was even remotely okay at talking to the camera. I had to look at myself and admit that I sucked. I was the one. I had to accept that my lack of views was my own fault. But your purpose comes from your pain. And by admitting how bad I was, I found the exact areas that I needed to improve. If I had just blamed the YouTube algorithm, I never would have built this channel here right now that you're watching. Also, if you want to take real action after this video, I made a free worksheet just for you. It covers the top lessons from today, gives you space to write your biggest takeaways, and helps you build a simple action plan. It's 100% free. Just click the link in the description below to go grab it. I'll see you there. So you need to build your own accountability mirror today. So get a pad of sticky notes and a marker, go into your bathroom and look at yourself. Write down the brutal truth about your business and your work ethic. If you are lazy, write down that you are lazy. If you are afraid of failure, write down that you are afraid. If you are wasting time scrolling on your phone instead of building your product, write it down and stick it to the glass. You have to read those notes every single morning. Let the truth hurt. Let it make you uncomfortable. Use that intense discomfort as the motivation to change your daily actions. Facing your failures is the only way to build true mental toughness, and you will need that toughness to fill up your mental reserve. Build your mental cookie jar. When you are in the middle of a massive struggle, your brain will try to convince you that you are weak. When a client rejects your proposal or your product launch completely fails, your confidence will drop to zero. And in those dark moments, you will forget every good thing you have ever done. You will only focus on the current pain. David Goggins created a concept called the cookie jar to fight back against this exact problem. The cookie jar is a mental vault where you store all of your past victories, all of the obstacles that you overcame, and all of the times you succeeded when the odds were against you. When you feel like quitting, you reach into the jar, you pull out a memory of your past strength, and take a bite. This concept is grounded in a psychological principle called self-efficacy, which was developed by Albert Bandura. Self-efficacy is your belief in your own ability to succeed in specific situations. According to the research, the most effective way to build self-efficacy is through mastery experiences. When you remind your brain of past success, you actually change your current psychological state. You lower the stress levels and increase your willingness to endure pain. You use your past evidence of strength to manufacture current belief. This is exactly how you build and sustain momentum in your business. I talk about momentum all the time because it's the lifeblood of an entrepreneur. When you have momentum, everything feels easy. But the second you hit a major roadblock, momentum dies. The cookie jar is the ultimate tool to restart your momentum. When you feel completely stuck, remembering a time you pushed through a similar wall gives you the spark you need to take one more step. It reminds you that you have felt this exact same fear before and you survived it. You need to build a literal cookie jar for your business today. Take out a piece of paper and write down 3 of the hardest things you have ever accomplished in your life. Write down the time you closed a sale when you had $0 in your bank account. Write down the time you learned a complex skill from scratch. Write down the time you were terrified to speak in public, made your first video, but you did it anyway. Fold the paper up, put it on your desk. The next time you want to quit, or the next time you feel completely overwhelmed by a business problem, read that paper. Remind yourself who you actually are. Remind yourself that you have a track record of winning. Take a cookie, eat it, and get back to work. But to make sure that your jar is always full, you have to actively seek out pain. Callus your mind every single day. If you want to become the toughest person in your industry, you have to intentionally do things that you hate. If you work with your hands, your skin develops physical calluses. The friction and the pain cause the skin to harden and thicken to protect you from future damage. Your brain works the exact same way. If you live a soft, comfortable life, your mind becomes incredibly fragile. The smallest bit of stress or negative feedback will completely break you. But if you force yourself into uncomfortable situations every single day, you develop a mental callus. You build an armor around your brain that makes you absolutely unstoppable. This process is linked to neuroplasticity, which is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. When you repeatedly force yourself to do difficult, uncomfortable tasks, you are literally rewiring your brain's response to stress. You are training your nervous system to stay calm in the middle of chaos. By introducing voluntary pain into the daily routine, the involuntary pain of running a business becomes incredibly easy to handle. So I do this in my own life to build discipline. I love junk food, so I keep a giant bag of Doritos behind me here on my desk, on the cabinets here, where I can see it every day. I stare into it as a reminder that I am stronger than the temptation. Damn the Doritos. I force myself to stick to a more strict, higher protein diet to fuel my body, even when I want to eat something that's easy. And right now I'm testing the effects of not eating anything at all before going to bed to see if I can improve my sleep. Going to bed hungry is highly uncomfortable, but making that hard choice builds my mental callus. It trains my brain to understand that I dictate my actions, not my cravings. You need to find ways to introduce intentional friction into your daily routine. Pick one thing you absolutely hate doing in your business. Maybe it's recording video content. Maybe it's organizing your taxes. I hate that. Or maybe it's reaching out to potential mentors. Whatever it is, do it first thing in the morning. Do not negotiate with yourself. Do not wait for motivation to strike. Motivation is completely useless. Just execute the task. Every time you push through the resistance and do the thing that you loathe, your mind gets thicker, stronger, and more resilient. You will build a brain that thrives on adversity, and that is exactly what you need to claim your ultimate victory. Your ultimate advantage. Suffering is not your enemy. It is the greatest tool you have to forge that unbeatable mindset. When you stop running from the pain and start running directly into it, you unlock a new level of power that your competition cannot even comprehend. So it's time to stop playing small and start demanding more from yourself. And congratulations, you're one video closer to who you're meant to be. Believe. Now let's learn how to build mental strength fast. Do you want to know the secret to becoming mentally and emotionally strong? Because life will test you, especially as an entrepreneur. And if you don't strengthen your mind, the stress will break you and your dreams with it. Once upon a time, a young engineer learned this the hard way. Soichiro Honda built a factory to chase his dream, only to watch it blown to pieces in World War II. Then an earthquake leveled everything he had left. He lost it all. Most people would have given up after such devastation, but not Honda. He refused to accept defeat, using each setback as an opportunity to move forward. The pressure to quit that nearly crushed him is the same pressure that you're feeling right now. And I know that pressure personally. When I was 22, I spent months crafting the perfect plan to sell my startup. We had a $40 million deal on the table, but my dream buyer flat out rejected me. No? Wait, what? I was shocked. All that work for nothing. Desperate, my partner and I pitched a smaller competitor. They loved their company, but it was too late. They'd been talking to our rival for months and ended up buying our competitor for that same $40 million. I was crushed. My fear of making a mistake, my need to be perfect, had cost me the biggest deal of my life. Maybe you're thinking, well, that's great for them, but I'm not like that. I'm not naturally tough. You might feel too sensitive, too overwhelmed. Like mental strength is something that you either have or you don't. But psychology says otherwise. A mental toughness can be taught and developed. In fact, resilience isn't some fixed inborn trait at all. It's built through experience and training. If Soichiro Honda could turn disaster into success, if I could turn my failure into the opportunity to get better, then you can learn to be mentally unbreakable too. So let's dive into how. Here are 5 strategies to build your mental and emotional strength starting right now. Turn your pain into purpose. Life will knock you down. Consider it your training ground. Just like your muscles need resistance to grow, your mind needs challenges to strengthen. Research shows that many people actually come out stronger after adversity, experiencing what psychologists call post-traumatic growth. Think of failure and hardship like weight on the bar. Each setback, each rejection, it's an opportunity to lift heavier the next time. Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Every problem is mental weightlifting for you. Embrace it, because the more storms that you can endure, the deeper your roots grow. Don't pray for less problems. Pray to get stronger. Remember, the strongest steel is forged in the fire, and your fire is making you stronger right now. Every entrepreneur gets scarred. The successful ones use their scars as armor. Master your self-talk. Being mentally strong isn't about never having doubts. It's about talking yourself through them. Your internal dialogue can be your greatest weapon or your worst enemy. If you keep saying, I can't handle this, you are programming yourself to break. But if you deliberately choose an optimistic frame, I've got this, I will find a way, you program yourself to persevere. Science backed this up. In one study, optimistic salespeople outsold pessimists by 56% and were far less likely to burn out. That's the power of mindset. When things go wrong, catch yourself a negative self-talk and flip it. Instead of, I'm failing, tell yourself, I'm learning. Instead of, this is the end, say, this is the setup for my comeback. It might feel weird at first, but this kind of positive reframing builds mental resilience like a muscle. So picture your mind as a thermostat. It's not a thermometer. So you set the temperature. You decide whether the situation is hopeless or is a challenge that you can overcome. Talk to yourself like you believe in yourself, like you would encourage your best friend. This isn't delusion or just feel good stuff. It's called mental conditioning. Turn fear into yes. Those sweaty palms, that racing heart before a big pitch or an uncertain call, that fear, it can paralyze you. Or it can energize you. So here's a pro tip. Stop trying to calm down when you're nervous. Instead, do what top performers do. Tell yourself, I'm excited. It sounds almost too simple, but science says it works. In multiple studies, people who rephrase their anxiety as excitement, literally saying, I am excited, ended up performing better and feeling more confident than those who tried to stay calm. Why? Because fear and excitement are two sides of the same high arousal coin. Your body doesn't know the difference, but your mind does. So when you label those butterflies as excitement, you flip from a threat mindset to an opportunity mindset. That fear that you're facing turns into focus. The same adrenaline that could have made you choke can actually become your rocket fuel for peak performance. So visualize your fear as a fire. Uncontrolled, it burns you. Harnessed, it cooks your meal and powers your engine. So the next time you feel that surge of nerves, literally smile and say out loud, I'm excited for this. Channel that energy into action. Instead of dreading what could go wrong, get amped up about what could go right. This is how you train your brain to perform under pressure. Build your support squad. Mental strength doesn't mean doing it all alone. Even the toughest entrepreneurs, they lean on others. In fact, research shows that resilience depends on having supportive, responsive relationships in your life. Think of a rope. One strand alone might snap under tension, but braid several together and they can tow a truck. Your relationships are those braided strands. Make sure you're surrounding yourself with people who lift you up, mentors, friends, fellow entrepreneurs who believe in you and they challenge you to grow. So when you hit a setback, these are the people who remind you who you are. And don't be afraid to ask for help or simply share what you're going through. That is not weakness. Sometimes just talking out a frustration with a peer or a loved one will reveal solutions that you couldn't see alone. Isolation is the enemy of emotional strength. Even a lone wolf needs a pack at times. So create your support squad. It could be a mastermind group, a coach, or just that one friend who always has your back. Invest in those relationships. Give support. Receive support. Knowing you're not facing the fight alone makes you bolder and more resilient. Find the meaning in the struggle. Why do you need to be mentally and emotionally strong? The answer to that why will carry you through the how. When you have a deeper purpose, you become nearly unstoppable. As one famous philosopher said, he who has a why can live to bear almost any how. And it's true. Studies show that people with a clear purpose in life have significantly lower stress, less anxiety, and bounce back faster after setbacks. Your purpose acts like an emotional anchor in the life storms that get thrown at you. If you know that you're building your business to change your family's future or to serve a mission that's greater than yourself, then the punches that come at you don't knock you out as easily. Every challenge gains context. It's for something, not just pain for pain's sake. So define your why. Write it down. Tattoo it on your brain or on your arm if you want want to. Let it be the filter for every struggle. Is this helping me grow closer to my mission? When the answer is yes, even failure becomes progress. Having meaning doesn't mean removing the obstacles from your path, but it gives you a reason to keep climbing over them as they show up. It turns your suffering, it turns that sacrifice into strength. This is how you shift from just grinding it out to actually growing. When you know what you stand for, you won't be so easily knocked down. The path is hard, but it's hard on purpose. And that purpose is what makes you mentally and emotionally strong. Your mind is your most important muscle, and today I've given you a workout. Every time you face a fear, reframe a negative thought, reach out for support, or keep pushing because your mission demands it. Every time you do that, you're getting stronger. So I want to acknowledge you for showing up here today and putting in the work on you. Keep going. You can handle this. Now let's learn the psychology of discipline that outlasts motivation. You feel tired. Your bank account is on life support. You're working on your dream alone while everyone else seems to have support. It's hard, right? In this video, I'm going to show you how to master self-discipline even when you're exhausted, broke, and feeling isolated. And by the end, you'll have a blueprint to stay disciplined and turn your situation around. The power of self-discipline. Now you might wonder, why is self-discipline such a big deal? Because discipline is the great equalizer. It's what lets the underdog win. In fact, a famous study by psychologist Angela Duckworth found that self-discipline was more than twice as important as IQ for school performance. Think about that. It's not just talent or smarts. It's your consistent actions that matter most. As motivational speaker Jim Rohn said, discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Without that bridge, even the best ideas go nowhere. Let's talk about discipline versus motivation. A lot of people will wait to feel motivated, but motivation comes and goes like a wave. Discipline stays when motivation fades, and science backed this up. For a long time, psychologists believed willpower was a limited resource that you run out of when you're tired. New research shows that if you believe you have more willpower, you actually do better. In other words, mindset matters. So don't say, I'm too drained. Tell yourself, I've got more in me. This mental trick can help push you through when other people quit. Self-discipline is self-love. Remember, being disciplined isn't a punishment, it's a form of self-care. Will Smith put it perfectly. If you want to be happy, you have to love yourself, which means you have to discipline your behavior. Every time you stick to your plan, whether it's working on your business plan or you're saying no to distractions or junk food, you're proving that you actually care about your future. So see discipline as a positive thing that's loving, not limiting. Pushing through when you're tired. Entrepreneur life often means long days and late nights. You might be juggling a day job and building your dream after hours. It's natural to feel exhausted. So how do you stay disciplined when you're running on empty? Here's Energy Management 101. First, take care of the basics. Studies show regular exercise boosts your energy, reduces fatigue. Even a quick walk can clear your mind when you're tired. Also, don't skimp on sleep if you can help it. A tired brain makes weak decisions. Discipline isn't about grinding yourself into the ground. It's about doing what it takes to keep your body and mind strong. Next, do the hard thing first. Willpower is strongest at the start of your day. If you're most alert in the morning, use that time for your most important tasks. So for example, if you need to write your business proposal or code your app, do it before checking emails and definitely before social media. As the day goes on, your decision-making fuel runs out. By night, you're tempted to say, I'll just do it tomorrow. Beat this by front-loading your toughest work when your energy is highest. This habit builds confidence and momentum. Next, tiny steps on tired days. So what about days when you're beyond tires? On those days, scale down, but don't zero out. Promise yourself to do at least 5 minutes of work on your goal. Often just starting is enough to get you in the zone. Even if you truly only do a few minutes, you're keeping the habit alive. Consistency is more important than intensity. Showing up, especially when you don't feel like it, strengthens your discipline muscle for the long run. Staying disciplined when you're broke. Lack of money can drain your morale. Bills are piling up and your business just isn't making money yet. And you're wondering, how long can you hold out for? Take a breath. Many legendary entrepreneurs started with almost nothing. What they had was discipline and resourcefulness. So we want to have a bootstrap mindset. According to the US Small Business Administration, 75% of new businesses are funded by personal savings. That means most entrepreneurs start by using whatever little money they have. If you're broke, you're actually in good company. Instead of focusing on what you don't have, Focus on being resourceful with what you do have. In my book, Built to Serve, I wrote about the importance of resourcefulness over resources. Don't wait until you have a lot of money to start. Use your time, your energy, and your hustle to get going. For example, if you can't afford a fancy website, start with a simple social media page. Can't hire staff? Use free tools or enlist your friends for help. Every problem has a solution if you stay disciplined and creative. Next, budget your time like money. When cash is tight, wasting time is even more expensive. Treat your time like gold. Set a daily schedule and stick to it. That includes hours for working on your business or your skills. This is where discipline pays off big. While others waste hours on Netflix, you're building your future. It's not easy. It might mean saying no to nights out or waking up earlier, but remember why you're doing it. Short-term sacrifices lead to long-term success. As the Navy SEALs say, discipline equals freedom. Discipline with money and your time now creates a financial freedom that you want later. Next, never spend before you earn. A practical tip when money is low is avoid debt and overspending on business extras. If you've only got $100 to spare, use it wisely on things that generate value, like a prototype or marketing to get your first customer. Reinvest your earnings. My rule is simple. Never spend money before you've earned it. This forces you to be strategic. You'll find cheaper alternatives. You'll negotiate harder, and maybe even discover that you don't need a certain thing at all. Discipline in your finances, living lean, keeps your dream alive until the revenue starts rolling in. Self-discipline when you feel alone. Entrepreneurship can be lonely. Your friends or family might not understand your ambition. You might not have a partner or a team yet. And late at night, it's just you and your laptop. So how do you stay disciplined without support? Start by finding your why. The secret to pushing through loneliness is having a powerful reason to keep going. As the philosopher Nietzsche famously said, and Viktor Frankl often quoted, "He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how." So what is your why? Maybe you want to lift your family out of poverty, prove the doubters wrong, change the world with your product. Hold that why in your heart. In Built to Serve, I talk about how your purpose comes from your pain. The challenges you faced, being broke, feeling alone, they're fuel for you. They give you a mission to help others in a similar situation. If you remember who you're doing this for, your future self, your loved ones, your potential customers, the world, you'll find strength on those lonely days. Your purpose becomes your accountability partner when no one else is around. Next is to create your support system. Just because you're physically alone doesn't mean that you can't get support. Build a virtual board of mentors. Read biographies of successful entrepreneurs or watch interviews on YouTube or videos like this. Hey, you're already here. You're doing it right now with this video. If Steve Jobs or Sarah Blakely or Elon Musk, they inspire you, let them mentor you through their stories. Join online communities or entrepreneur groups on social media. Share your goals and progress. Even a weekly check-in with one like-minded friend can keep you accountable. You'll realize that you're not truly alone on this journey. Many others have felt the exact same struggle and they made it through. So can you. Next is a positive environment. So be very careful about who and what you listen to. If certain friends only complain or doubt you, limit those conversations. Surround yourself, even if it's just online, with positivity and ambition. My own one-word credo is believe. That's what I want you to do. Believe that you're capable. Fill your ears with motivational podcasts and videos. Fill your feed with success stories. When you immerse in positivity, it's easier to stay disciplined because you have constant reminders that, yes, this is worth it. Practical steps to build unstoppable discipline. Okay, so now that we've covered mindset for tough situations, let's get into actionable steps. Here are 5 practical tips to strengthen your self-discipline starting today. Number 1, remember your why every day. Write down your reason for doing this on a sticky note and put it somewhere that you're going to see it. When you wake up, read it aloud. This keeps your purpose front and center. Why am I working so hard? Because your dream matters and people need what you're creating. Your why will kick you out of bed on days that you want to quit. Remember the quote, "He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how." It's true. Number 2, set clear goals and micro deadlines. Don't just say, "I want to grow my business." Define it. For example, I will get 10 new customers by the end of this month, or I will finish the prototype by Friday. Break those big goals down into smaller tasks. Daily and weekly targets to give you something concrete to discipline yourself against. Use a calendar or a planner to block out time for these tasks. Treat these appointments with yourself as non-negotiable meetings. When you have a clear plan, it's easier to shut out the distractions and the negative voices because you know exactly what you should be working on right now. Number 3, develop a routine and stick to it. Our brains love routine. If you work on your side hustle every night from 7 to 9 p.m., pretty soon it just becomes a habit. It's just part of your day. Same thing with morning routines. Maybe you wake up and you exercise for the first 20 minutes and then you spend 30 minutes learning some new skill for your business. Do it every day at the same time. And over time, you won't need to fight yourself to start working. It'll just feel natural. This consistency is the backbone of discipline. As one study noted, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence and success then are habits built by routine. Number 4, use accountability hacks. When it's just you, hold yourself accountable with simple tricks. So for example, tell someone your goal with a due date. The pressure of not wanting to disappoint them can keep you disciplined. You could also find an accountability partner online who checks in weekly. Here's another hack. Commit money. Tell a friend. You'll pay them $50 if you don't stick to your plan this week. You'll be amazed how disciplined you become when something real is on the line. If no partner is available to you, even keeping a daily progress journal can help. Track how you spent your time and what you achieved. Seeing it in black and white on a piece of paper can either give you a pat on the back or a much needed wake-up call. And number 5, practice self-compassion, not self-excuses. Now, this might sound counterintuitive, but discipline doesn't mean being a drill sergeant to yourself 24/7. Yes, you must push yourself, but also acknowledge that you're human. And if you slip up, maybe you overslept or you missed a target, don't spiral into negativity. Recognize it, learn from what happened, and get back on track as quickly as possible. Beating yourself up can lead to giving up. I missed one day, so now the whole week is ruined. No, that's not true. One mistake does not define you. Your overall consistency does. You are what you consistently do. So be kind to yourself, but also honest. Ask, why did I falter? How can I avoid this the next time? And then you adjust. This way you can keep a positive mindset and continually improve your discipline. Here's a little bonus tip. Celebrate your small wins. Did you stick to your schedule all week? Did you land that new client? Did you finish that prototype? Hey, high five yourself, right? Treat yourself to something small or do a little victory dance. Put on some music, sing out loud. Positive reinforcement is powerful. It makes your brain say, hey, this discipline stuff, it feels good. That will motivate you to continue. Remember, success is a series of small wins, and every day that you stay disciplined is a win. You can do this. Being tired, broke, or alone might be your reality right now, but it does not have to define your future. Every successful entrepreneur that you admire has walked through fire in one way or another. The difference is they kept walking. They maintained their discipline when it was toughest, and that made all the difference. And so now, it's your turn. Choose discipline over doubt. When you're exhausted, remind yourself that your mind is stronger than your feelings. When you're broke, remember that limitations spark creativity and that you're building a story you can one day tell with pride. When you're alone, know that you're actually part of a massive community of dreamers and doers who felt the same fear but pressed on. You have something special that the world needs, but you have to finish the race to share it. So keep showing up. Keep believing in yourself when no one else does yet. Every day that you stick to your path, you're one day closer to the breakthrough that you've been waiting for. Your future self is watching, and they're so proud you didn't give up today. So stay disciplined, keep your head up, and build something great. You've got this. Now get out there and make it happen. Believe. Did Elon Musk sleep on the floors of YMCA to build his business? Check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there. You know Elon Musk today as the billionaire innovator sending rockets to Mars and building electric cars. But rewind a few decades and picture a young Elon with barely $1 to his name crashing on an office couch